Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. We shall stand for the prayer, which is going to be said by the Reverend Dr. Justus Muropere.
Let's humble ourselves and pray. Lord our Father, we thank you for such an afternoon when we gather together to choose our next DVCAA. Lord, you are the one who searches the hearts of men. We pray that you search the hearts of all those who are standing and you give us your best. Our wisdom is limited, our knowledge is limited, but your knowledge we can rely on. May your presence be with us as we go through this. In the name of the Lord we pray. Amen.
Good afternoon. You may take your seats and greet the person next to you and welcome them.
Hello, neighbor. Yes, neighbor. How are you?
Good. Welcome to this public presentation of the Deputy Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Mbara University. My name is Martha Choshaba Tunamasko, Academic Registrar and Secretary to the Search Committee. Before the Vice Chancellor comes to formally welcome us to this presentation and to MUST, let me recognize the presence of members of the University Council. Please wave to us, members of the University Council. We have members here. Thank you for coming. We have members of top management. Would you please wave to the audience? There you go, you're welcome. We have members of the University Senate. Wave your hands. Yes, we can see them. Thank you for coming. We have students, our beloved students. Would you please wave to us? Thank you so much for coming. We have staff. Wave to us. Thank you so much for filling this place. And all our distinguished guests. And ladies and gentlemen, we have our Mgole on the block, the newest groom, Professor Robert Vitaruho, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Finance and Administration. Thank you very much for honoring this important occasion. I wish to sincerely appreciate the Vice Chancellor, Professor Pauline Biachika-Chiwika, for fostering a supportive working environment that has enabled the search committee to execute its work diligently. Thank you very much, VC, Professor Pauline. I'd also like to extend our gratitude to the University Secretary and Accounting Officer, Mr. Vincent Kwatampora, for ensuring timely logistical support for the search committee. Thank you very much, Vincent. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to also thank the Public Relations Officer, the Masked Angel, Ms. Angela Nakato Muyingo, who has been publicizing this event and who has set up this place. Thank you very much, Angela. The Principal Information Technology Officer, Mr. Amos Bariashaba, who has been giving us technical support. Thank you so much for your professionalism. And the team from the Academic Registrar's Office, Madam Beatrice, Rosette, Ruth, and Gillian, Raymond, we deeply appreciate your dedication and support. And to the search committee under the leadership of Mrs. Sarah Nyachuo Mwaka, it's been an honor to serve you. Thank you very much for your guidance and teamwork. I have enjoyed being your secretary. Having served in 3 such processes for the Vice Chancellor in 2024, the DVC FA in 2025, and now the DVC Academic Affairs, I'm grateful to Council for entrusting me with this responsibility and for the invaluable learning experience. And I would like to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, by reminding us there's an old book that says, let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there's no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God, even if they are used by the search committee. Thank you very much for coming. I now take the honor to invite our beloved Vice Chancellor, Professor Pauline, to come and formally welcome us to Mbarara University of Science and Technology. Professor. Give her a hand of applause.
Thank you very much, our AR, Dr. Martha Choshaba Twinamasko, Chairperson of the Search Committee, present here, members of Council, led by our Deputy Chair of Council, Ms. Sarah Nyachuo Mwaka, and our Chairperson of the Search Committee, Dr. Henry Mwebesa, members of the Search Committee present, members of Senate and top management present here, distinguished staff and students, invited guests, the public out there, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, everyone. This moment feels nostalgic to me. I'm experiencing a déjà vu. Yes, I'm experiencing a déjà vu at the moment, and it's quite emotional. On behalf of the university leadership, I want to warmly welcome you all this afternoon to this very important exercise for the governance and the future of Mbarara University of Science and Technology. Today, we have public presentations by the candidates shortlisted for the position of Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of academic affairs at MAST. Today's presentations and engagement reflects our commitment to transparency, to merit, and to a participatory approach to governance. We all know the position of Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic Affairs is at the core of our academic mission, which is the reason why we are here as MAST. This office provides leadership in teaching, learning, research, and innovation, and academic planning, quality assurance, curriculum development, and safeguarding of all academic standards, and ensures the ranking of Mbarara University of Science and Technology. In other words, this position defines what MAST is. This appointment today and this engagement and this exercise of the search committee comes in at a very critical and timely moment for this university, when the Ministry of Education has directed us to move to undertake competence-based education. And we are experiencing and going through a review of all our curriculum, comprehensive review of all the curriculum in the institution to suit the competence-based education. We are systematically revising this curriculum to ensure that our outcomes are skills-oriented and that we are learner-centered and responsive to national, regional, and international or global workforce demands. So today is a critical moment for us as MAST. The incoming Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs, will assume office at a time when strong academic stewardship is needed most at MAST, to guide, to harmonize, and to institutionalize competence-based curriculum, to strengthen quality assurance, to strengthen the teaching, to ensure that the teachers are actually in class, that teachers do not say we are teachers of MAST, and yet they are actually teachers of KIU, or teachers of BSU. And they are part-timing at MAST, and moonlighting, and running around BSU, KIU, private clinics, institutions, and they are saying we are teachers of MAST. So this gentleman today, I'm saying gentleman because they are all gentlemen. So the probability that he's going to be a gentleman is equal to 100%. This gentleman is coming in very, very timely to support our capacity development and also to support the staff ourselves, innovative pedagogy and assessment, and to ensure that our graduates are not only knowledgeable, but demonstrably competent, ethical, and globally competitive. And as a science and technology-led university, we continue to expand our academic programs, strengthen our research output and innovation output, and deepen our community engagement and advance internationalization. So the DVC in charge of academic affairs, and I hope the candidates can hear me. This DVC, they don't hear me? I hope they get my message after this. The DVC is central to aligning these strategic priorities with our curriculum transformation agenda and ensuring coherence across the academic enterprise of MAST. So the purpose of these presentations today is to provide all of us, individually and as a community of MAST, the opportunity to decide, the opportunity to hear each candidate's vision for academic leadership at MAST, the opportunity to understand their strategy for steering the competence-based curriculum reform, the opportunity for us to assess their approach to strengthening teaching, research, innovation, and student success. The opportunity for them to tell us how they are going to ensure that the teachers are actually in class. The opportunity to engage through structured questions and feedback as guided by the search committee. I want to encourage all of you participants and the public out there to engage them. But please engage them respectfully, professionally, and constructively. It is a collegial academic exercise. It's an academic battle. Academic and leadership battle, grounded in integrity, fairness, and institutional interests. And I want to thank the search committee for putting up this show. To our candidates, unfortunately, they cannot hear me, but in case AR, Martha, you have an opportunity to speak to them. I want to thank them for offering themselves to serve at this critical moment in the country and at MAST. Leadership in academic affairs demands clarity of vision. It demands a collaborative spirit. It demands reform-mindedness. It demands commitment to integrity and excellence. So let us take this public presentation with the extreme seriousness that it deserves, with open minds and shared commitment to future and continuous transformation of this academic institution to ensure academic distinction and integrity. I want to thank you very much for coming, and I want to thank the search committee in advance. I now hand over to the chairperson of the search committee. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Council members present, Senate members present, members of top management, staff of Mbarara University, our beloved students, and members of the public. I welcome you to this very important event, the public presentation of candidates for the position of Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs at Mbarara University of Science and Technology. My name is Sarah Nyachwomwaka, and I have been honored to serve as the chairperson of the search committee that is going to get a candidate for the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs at MUST. I am joined by a dedicated team drawn from Council and also from Senate, and I would like at this point to invite the members of the search committee to introduce themselves to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Mwevesa Henry. I'm a member of the search committee representing Council. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Joel Bazira, a member of Senate and a member of the search committee.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Professor Grace Kagoro. I am a member of the search committee representing Senate.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. John Zobungoloch. I'm a member of the search committee. I'm also a member of Senate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. These are the members of the search committee who have been driving this process. As you're aware, the search committee has been a three-stage process. The shortlisting, which we did in November, then we also had interviews, and then lastly is the public presentation, which is happening today, where the candidates are going to present their vision for MUST. I urge members to kindly listen to them very carefully, and I think moving forward, whatever they put in their vision, we shall later mark you, which goes to our newly appointed DVC F&A. We are going to look at your vision for MUST and tick whether you have done what you said that you were going to do for MUST. So stand duly warned. So members, as you're aware, each stage that we have mentioned carries marks, and we are at the last stage where we are going to also give marks and then later present our report to Senate and then to Council, and then we'll be able to present to the university a new DVC, Academic Affairs. Our mandate has been to conduct a transparent, fair, and merit-based process that upholds the integrity and values of Mbarara University of Science and Technology. As I conclude, I would like to thank management, particularly the Vice Chancellor, the Office of the University Secretary, fondly known in Council as Uncle Mane. When he coughs, everything happens. So US, we thank you very much for the logistics that you have been able to provide. And I would also like to thank Martha, the Secretary to the Search Committee. Martha has really done a wonderful job. Martha, we thank you. sleepless nights, and you've done a good job. We're very thankful. As I conclude, I would like Grace, one of our members, to give the ground rules for these presentations. These are the rules that we are going to use to guide both the candidates and also all of you here when it comes to the answering of the questions. Thank you very much. Over to you, Grace.
Thank you, Chair. Please allow me run on the existing protocol and just go straight to the ground rules. As we are all aware, we have 4 candidates for this position. So we are going to have one candidate at a time. They have already picked their rotary papers and they know the order in which they will come. Each candidate will have up to 15 minutes to present their outline of their vision for MAST as far as the academic affairs position is concerned, the DVC AA, and their suitability for that position. After each presentation, we will invite questions both from the physical public and also those online. And we shall take a set of 3 questions at a time for the candidate to answer. As our dear Vice Chancellor has said, kindly engage the candidates. Then each candidate will give responses to each set of questions of 3 until the chair decides that the time is up. We have prepared 10 minutes for the questions, but the chair has the prerogative to judge when to stop. Lastly, my request is to kindly request all of us to accord all the candidates respect and an attentive listening. Thank you very much. And because we want to keep time, we have set a timer at the back of the room for the candidates. So I request our timekeeper immediately the candidate starts presentation to run that timer for it to help each candidate to time themselves so that they don't have to always look at their clocks. So the timer is at the back of the wall. It's well projected and visible, and we hope that that would help the candidates. Thank you very much, and thank you so much for coming. You're most welcome. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Grace. I would now hand over to Martha to invite the first candidate.
Thank you.
Members, I would like to introduce the first candidate, Professor Francis Kasekende. Over to you, Professor Kasekende.
Thank you, Chairperson, and members of Council, Vice Chancellor, members of management, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Francis, as I've been introduced. I'm here to present my vision for Mbara University of Science and Technology, assuming I became the next Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of academic affairs. It's not moving. Do you want me to use this? Okay. I'm supposed to tell you the vision. I'm also supposed to tell you why I'm the right person to be the next Deputy Vice Chancellor. My proposal is that MUST becomes a university that leverages competency-based learning and digitalization to produce a future-ready individual for the world of work and industry. This vision of mine is in line with the vision of the university, which we all know. Ladies and gentlemen, the world of work desires competent people. It desires a person who is ready to do the job there and then. They don't have the time for training. So the person that we produce, whether at undergraduate or postgraduate, should be able to do work exactly the way the employer wants. At the moment, there is a paradigm shift, a shift from teaching theoretically to now teaching students using competency-based learning, or what we call a competency-based curriculum. This curriculum embeds a number of things. 1, knowledge. 2, skills. 3, behaviors, values, and perhaps people's attitudes. What has been happening in Uganda is that our curriculum basically concentrates on knowledge, and we do not concentrate on these other tenets. Now, what do I want to say? Given the opportunity to be the next Vice Chancellor of this great university, we must move with the rest of the world. If you look at other countries, countries that have embraced competency-based learning, Korea, South Korea, Japan, China, these countries are doing very well compared to us. So I promise that as your next DVCAA, I will champion the move towards teaching based on competency-based learning. Must emphasize, the university should emphasize the practical application of the real world issues, not teaching people only to memorize and then be able to answer questions in an examination. We must be able to practically demonstrate on the ground what the person in the community wants. That is my pledge. Now, what shall I do in the first 100 days? Given the opportunity, we shall be able to, first of all, reskill faculty. Members present here, if you are not an academic, the word faculty here means academic staff, not the faculty of education faculty. the staff that we have here, yes, they are good, but they may not have those skills, that knowledge of teaching the curriculum-based learning way. We are used to teaching, including myself. That's what I've been doing for most of the years, until recently in 2020, 2022, when the government came up with this plan. So we shall reskill faculty in the best ways of facilitating student learning using the curriculum-based way of teaching. We also want to rewrite the curriculum. Rewriting means reviewing. I know must have started this. I am not going to start something new. I am going to build on the existing status which you have, and will write all academic programs with a bias towards teaching based on the curriculum-based, the competency-based curriculum. What shall we do? We will reduce classroom engagement. Face-to-face sessions, that will be reduced, where the teacher teaches and then the students are just listening. We want to teach these students soft skills, attitude. We want to come up with a nurse who is able to help the patient. You know, the nurse may know how to treat and give drugs and whatever, but then how does that nurse help? How does she show compassion? This we shall do. You and I, we shall do this. We shall teach them the values, the behavior. But we shall also emphasize practical skills, such that when this student goes away from Mbara University of Science and Technology, he actually starts doing what he or she is supposed to do there and then. We will teach critical thinking. We shall teach, I know innovation you have, that one you do. But we shall innovate, we shall do more of innovations, and also use digital literacy, and teach digital literacy. I am very sure, I think, by the mere name of this university, my University of Science and Technology, ICT is something that I do well. I am going to work with you, with the technocrats, to improve on the teaching, in the administration of academic affairs using digital methods. Now, since digitalization is the key, I picked something from your strategic plan. Now I'm part of Mbara University also. From our strategic plan. It says, to strengthen the utilization of modern learning management systems and integrate digital technologies into academic processes. That is in the strategic plan. And what shall we do? The actions are there. We shall enhance remote learning. We want to come up with a digital infrastructure task force. If it's there, I am going to support it. I will lobby the Vice Chancellor. I will lobby Council. I will lobby all the powers that be that this digital infrastructure task force does what it is supposed to do. For example, it does that last bullet. It should be able to promote the strategy for expanding digital learning and to have those tools and resources that enable digital learning. I don't know whether the University Secretary is here. He's going to give us money. I'm going to bench, yes. US should give us money to expand the digital learning resources. I will demonstrate on his office of his door, if he doesn't. Now, I actually went through the strategic plan for Mbara University of Science and Technology. I realized that the one that is on the website is from 2020-21 to 2024-25. I was not able to see the current one. But I think the themes might remain the same. because usually it is difficult to complete all that you place in the strategic plan. So I identified these themes in the strategic plan, which I promise also to capitalize on to improve the image of Mbara University of Science and Technology. The competency-based curriculum will promote our vision and our strategic plan. That vision is there. We are the hub. We want to be the hub of academic and professional excellence, particularly in science and technology. All of us know that. But how do we go there? We shall promote academic leadership and governance. We are going to train all leaders, heads of department, deans of faculty, on how to use the competency-based learning such that we get the best student, the best outcome. In terms of teaching, learning, and quality assurance, still, based on my vision, proposed vision, we are going to be the best. Research and innovation is one of them. I like this research. I am a researcher, but in the other field of management. I'm going to work with the technical people, the scientists, the ICT guys, such that we do that research and innovation that helps the community on the ground, not haphazard research that makes you become a professor when you have not done anything for the man on the ground. We shall promote graduate training. Graduate training is one of the themes that is in the strategic plan. And you realize that the completion rates are getting low for graduates. Students do their semester 1, 2, 3 academics, they finish. But when it comes to doing the research, the thesis and all, what you call dissertation, they find a problem. We are going to mentor them. We are going to take them through those statistical packages that enable them to interpret the work, the data they have gotten, and then come up with the meaning behind the data. I saw this element of partnership and internationalization. I want to commend MUST. When I look at the website, I saw, I think, 46 MOUs with the national and international organizations you have signed. When I become the next DVC, if we don't double them, at least we shall go somewhere beyond the 46. And I intend to do that. And we shall partner with those organizations that also help the community on the ground. And also the issue of student affairs. I don't know whether that is my time. Oh. Okay, why am I the most suitable person? I have the requisite competences. I have the appropriate education and experience. I am a professor of organizational behavior and organizational development. Development is all about change. I am going to work hand in hand with the council, with the management, with everybody to change the organization from where it is to a better one. I have served both in the public and private organizations, chartered universities. I will bring on board experience for the private sector into the public sector, and we shall see MUST going up. I have been a university secretary at Nkumba University. I have been an acting dean of faculty of vocational studies and distance education at MUBS. I was the head of department of education at MUBS. I acted as a vice chancellor at one time. When my vice chancellor was away, I would act as vice chancellor. So I am ready for the job. Chairperson and members, I have a number of achievements I have made. I am widely published in internationally accepted peer-reviewed journals. I have supervised over 70 students at master's level and about 5 students at PhD. One is graduating tomorrow. If I was presenting tomorrow, I would put 6, but now there are 5. I have mentored staff into academic writing. To become an academic writer is not easy. But I have mentored them and they become associate professors, they have become senior lecturers. I will do that one here. I will have participated in conferences internationally and nationally. So I have that international exposure, and also I have won several grants for my university where I was. The one we last won is the SEDA, which won a grant of 1 billion from UCC, and we are implementing it. We have obtained partnerships, many of them. I have helped transform an organization which was falling down to now an uprising. I found that university, which I don't want to, but you have known it. It was going to the dogs, but I helped it come up. I wish I had more time to tell you this, but I've chaired Senate meetings. I have led teams to develop new academic programs. Lastly, Chairperson, in the next 5 years, we will aim to lead MUST into a new era of academic integrity and excellence, fostering innovation, research, impactful community, and impactful community service. By aligning with national and global agendas, we shall build a future-ready university, that provides practical solutions to prevailing challenges. I thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Professor Katsekende. Now we're going to open up the floor for questions. Are you ready? You could maybe, do you have a paper and pen?
Am I allowed to take water?
Yes, you may. We'll give you time.
Thank you.
Is there? Members, the floor is open for questions. You ready? Are you ready? Okay. I think I'll start with Mr. President. Is there another microphone that side?
Thank you so much, Chair. Good afternoon, protocol observed. I am Ariholakira Turumba, the Group President of MUST, and I'm glad to listen from you, Professor Kasekende. My question is one and brief. You had a section on student support and welfare, and I think because of time, you didn't get time to elaborate for us. So I would like you, in this time, when you're answering questions, to use at least 1 minute to tell us how you're going to promote student welfare and support us as students. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Jonan Semire. I'm a senior lecturer in the Faculty of Medicine. I would like to ask just 2 questions to the candidate, Professor Kasekende. The first question is on the competence-based curriculum, which is the center of your vision for MUST for the next 5 years. It's true that government is moving collectively to the competence-based curriculum because the secondary schools are now, I think, in senior 5, they are at competence-based, they are on competence-based curriculum. But the competence-based approach is not new. We know that it's not new, and I wanted you to, based on your understanding of the university curricula, and specifically for MUST, maybe through your research of the programs we offer here at MUST, what gaps do you see in our current programs that, when addressed, will put us right at the forefront of competence-based curriculum delivery, because we have actually been running competence-based curricula. The second one is The second one is, in your vision for MUST, you talked about training of staff, you talked about writing programs, rewriting, reviewing. What challenges do you foresee? What challenges do you foresee, and how do you intend to overcome those challenges? Thank you.
Thank you. We'll just take one question from there and then he'll answer the questions.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good evening, members. Thank you, Professor Kasengede, for your presentation. I'll just add on my colleague's question. I'm Dr. Simon Kauma, Senior Lecturer in the Faculty of Computing and Informatics, and I'm also the head of department. I've loved your presentation about CBE, and indeed, CBE is the way to go. But I really want you to practically tell us how you are going to improve CBE in regards to limited resources. You are all aware that government doesn't have enough funds. You say that you will be benching US's office, but US also has a lot on his to take care of. So how are you going to do it practically? Thank you very much.
You may answer the questions now.
Thank you. Your Excellency President, every organization has got stakeholders. And we, MOOPS, must. we have stakeholders, the council, the National Council of Education, University Council. One of the biggest stakeholders is the guild, is the student body. And for me, as an expert of organizational development, I know that every stakeholder has power. We have what we call power centers, and we know that the student body is a power center. If you don't give it what it deserves, it will create problems to the university. Now, what shall I do? We are going to engage students in decision making. Issues that concern students, they must be part and parcel of that. We shall not come up with decrees from above. You will be part and parcel of the decision-making process. Two, we will mentor them. We will counsel them. Some students find problems studying because they have not been counseled. I believe there must be a counselor here. We shall work as management with the counselor to counsel those students, to mentor them. Even other issues, the money is not enough, but we need to look at what students want. They want facilities like football pitches. Of course, they cost money, and they are saying the US might not have the money. But we shall use whatever is available to make sure that our students get what they deserve. I believe that will help for now. Involving in decision making, and also mentoring and counseling students who have challenges. Jonan, what gaps do you see in the current programs? Now, I haven't studied totally the programs at MUST. That one I must admit. But based on the knowledge I have with those programs I've been teaching in the management, I know there are gaps. And one of the gaps I've told you, we teach theoretically. You teach the whole semester, at the end of the day, you give the examination, the student passes with flying colors. And then when he goes to the field, he cannot perform. Get engineers at these universities we have. They learn, this is a nut, this is a screw, this is a whatever. But if you take him to the ground, they will not do it. That is the gap I'm saying. So reduce the time in the classroom, go practical. Take somebody to the tractor. Now, since we are doing medicine here and ICT, let's go to the hospitals. I know you go there, but we shall go there more. and we do practical. Some of the doctors we have, with due respect to those that are here, don't do this. But those that are not here, when you go to the hospital, there's a way they handle you. They think you are not a person. They don't have those you know, I studied human resource management. I know interpersonal skills. We want you to welcome somebody in a good way. And then that, even if touching the patient alone can even make him happy. Behaviors, attitudes, values, they should be taught. Those are the gaps, and I'm saying let's do it that way. Rewriting programs, what do you see as a challenge? Of course, finances are a challenge. Of course, are you aware that professors are the most difficult people to change? Sorry, the professors are not here. Those that are here, okay. But I saw it at Makerere during COVID period. We had actually refused to do online teaching. But until COVID did the other way around. So we know one of the challenges is resistance to change. Somebody has got a text, he knows how he's been teaching, and that's what he wants. So changing him is a problem. We shall go slowly by slowly. We shall, you know, there is what we call it taking traits and not making traits. We shall take. Trait taking is building on the existing until you get what you want. So we shall. The resources are not enough. I don't know. You are going to help me here. When I come, we shall sit as a team and say, in spite of the resources that we want and the mega resources the US has, what should we do as a team? And we devise means. We can partner, we can go and source funding from other organizations. We have people who have studied in Mbarara University, and there are big people up there. We should go and tell them to help us.
Thank you very much. Just one more question from online, from Innocent. Innocent, can you hear us now? Yes, typed it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm Innocent Aronitwe. I'm a medical doctor and an alumnus from MUST. I thank Professor Kasekende for the presentation, and my question is about the feasibility of his promise for the first 100 years. I see first 100 days. He is already planning on rewriting academic programs with a bias on competence-based curriculum, but I realized MUST is already almost halfway into, actually more than halfway into implementation of the budget that was passed. So his coming will be at a time when the budget is already passed with timelines and everything to be done within that time. How will he ensure that he sticks to the institutional strategic plans and bringing the new proposals he's bringing on board? Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you. Doctor, I didn't get the doctor's name.
Just hold on. We have some more online questions that we're going to answer.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to read the online questions for you, Professor Kasekende. Professor Kasekende, this is from Masaba Magezi. Thank you for presenting yourself for MUST leadership. How will you support communities to overcome daily challenges like school dropouts? The other question is from John Innocent Muhereza. No, the other one was Innocent, somebody else. You are in Netwe. This is another one. Chair, he's first taking down the question. The other one is, thank you, Chair. My question to Professor Kasekende. In relation to your presentation, focusing on your first 100 days, how many academic staff does MUST have? How many academic programs does MUST have? Therefore, how practically achievable is it for you to rewrite the academic programs and have faculty trained in 100 days, as you stated? Chair, there's a third question. Do we take it? It is also, can we do it? This is from Mwavu Rogers for you, Professor Kasekende. How does Professor Kasekende justify the statement that he will demonstrate in order to obtain funding, given that a university is fundamentally an institution for scholarship, research, and dialogue, not political or public demonstrations? How does this approach align with the values, governance structures, and academic mission of the university?
Thank you very much, Martha. These are the last set of questions to Dr. Kasekende. Please be as brief as possible.
Yes. Yeah, they are tough ones. I'll do what I can. But they rotate around funding, innocent, the budget constraints. We're already into 50% of the budget. That's funding. Now, also this last one, justify how do you demonstrate the funding? Yes, universities are supported by financing from the government. But I'm saying, if you partner with other organizations, they can also support you. Where I've been at Nkumba University, University Secretary, we partnered with Entebbe Municipal Council, and it gave us lots of money, which helped solve a few issues. You can partner with the other institutions which can take, they may not give you the fund, but you have to partner with other institutions, other organizations, local, international, to get the funding. Other than that one got from government. Masaba, about the 100 days, yes, I have put a lot on my plate. But the Englishman says, aim at the stars. You will not hit them. But you will go beyond the person who aims at the chimney wall. That's my answer to you. In short, I hope.
Is that all?
That's all for now. The others,
okay.
They rotate around.
Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Kasekende. Thank you very much, Professor Kasekende. This brings to an end your public presentation to the mass community. We thank you very much for expressing interest in working with MAST. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Wish you well.
again. I would like to introduce the second candidate, Joseph Ngonzi.
Thank you.
Joseph, welcome to the public presentation. This is the mass community that you'll be presenting your vision to. Over to you, Joseph. Please proceed.
Thank you very much. The Chair, DVC Academic Affairs Search Committee, and your members, the Chair and members of Council, the Vice Chancellor, and members of the Senate and the top management, the student community, staff, colleagues, and well-wishers, good afternoon. My name is Joseph Ngonzi, and I'm one of the candidates for the position of Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs at MUST. My presentation outline this afternoon is as displayed. I'll be speaking into each of these subsections as I go along, and I'll be feeding a little more detail as the presentation proceeds. I've been at MUST for the last 26 years, and I thought I could give a very brief profile of MUST and how that feeds into the position I applied for. Mbara University started about 36 years ago as a one-faculty university with 45 students and 5 staff. And over this period of 36 years, the university has grown. We are in the era of our 3rd Vice Chancellor, and currently we have 6 faculties, having grown from 1 faculty. We have 1 MUST Research Institute with many centers of excellence under it. We currently have over 6,500 students, 38 being female, and the number of staff is close to 600 with over 90 academic programs. MUST has contributed to human resource in this country and globally. We have graduated over 20,000 people from this institution, and according to Webometrics and AD Scientific Index, we are ranked number 3 in the country. When I was reviewing my interest in this position, I thought I would give a profile of who Joseph Ngonzi is. And Joseph Ngonzi is a holder of a PhD in medical sciences from the University of Antwerp in Belgium, Masters of Medicine in Obstetrics and Gynecology, that's women's health, Bachelor of Surgery and Bachelor of Medicine from Mbara University, and I'm a fellow of the East Central and Southern African College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. Over my academic journey, I've been able to grow through the ranks and now to an academic rank of a professor of obstetrics. As per last week, I've published 179 peer-reviewed papers. I have supervised graduate students to completion. I've examined graduate students in Uganda, Tanzania, and Europe, and the number is over 100. When I was a student, I became a student leader, and the spark of leadership grew. I was a guild president as a student leader more than 20 years ago, and when I was recruited, I rose through the ranks to become a head of department, a deputy dean, and I'm currently serving my 2nd tenure as the dean of the Faculty of Medicine, which is transitioning into the College of Health Sciences. In terms of governance, I'm a member of the University Senate, University Council, and I sit on different Senate and Council committees. I serve on different various boards, governance boards in this country. Just to pick one of them, I chair the Education, Training and Registration Committee of the Uganda Medical and Dental Practitioners Council. I'm a regular reviewer for many reputable journals and also an editor for some journals, scientific journals. In the last 9 years, I've been able to bring close to 20 billion shillings in research funding to Mbara University. Of course, there are a few other achievements in line with the position I applied for. As Dean, I have spearheaded review and accreditation of 32 Faculty of Medicine curricula in the last 5 years. I have overseen new programs coming on board, very competitive programs as they are displayed there. I've also successfully advocated as a leader of a faculty for promotion and recruitment of staff in my faculty. And I was counting this year, the number is 66 from the time I became dean. I've also pioneered research mentorship training, leadership training. I've been part of a core team that successfully advocated for funding led by our Vice Chancellor to build the College of Health Sciences, and many of you were present at the groundbreaking. We have been at the forefront for establishing the Mast Health Sciences REC, which is going to be the second REC at Mbara University. We have worked with our students to establish mentorship programs within the faculty, and many of these students have gone on to become successful people. To note, some of the medical students I worked with have been able to win grants, they've been able to go for further training, and this training continues. Mbara University is uniquely placed. It's an institution that everyone of a sound mind would want to associate with. And the vision for Mbara University, which is available on the website, is to be a center of academic and professional excellence in science and technology, and the mission is well outlined. I'll put emphasis on the mandate, which is teaching, research, innovation, and community engagement and service. When I looked through this, I made a SWOT analysis for MAST, and I discovered there are many strengths. One, there's modest infrastructure. We have got new, energetic, visionary leadership in the names of the Vice Chancellor, the new DVC, the US, and many others. And so this gives us a lot of ground to contribute to this great institution called MAST. We have highly qualified and dedicated staff, and we have a lot of land to implement many initiatives. And of course, MAST focuses on STEM programs, which is a very important component in our National Development Plan 4. There are, however, a number of weaknesses, and one of them is limited industry or internship linkages, and we know what this does. Inadequate staffing and promotion opportunities, and also limited funding. There are many opportunities, of course, when you look at MAST. There are existing strategic collaborations and partnerships across the globe. There's increased demand for the programs that we have. It's a public university offering quality and affordable education. MAST is actually the cheapest university in this country, yet offering quality education. There are threats to this institution. Exodus of highly trained staff, low staff motivation due to delayed promotions, and competition from other institutions. My vision, or my focus for this position, is to advance excellence in the 4 mandate areas of Mbara University, and to ensure that all the programs that we have are responsive and relevant to local, national, and global development priorities. I have an 8-point program, which I've called Joseph's 8-point program, and I'll be speaking about each one of these. Number 1 is academic excellence through integrity and quality assurance. I intend to superintend over a transparent academic ecosystem right from the time a student comes in until they graduate. I intend to spearhead faculty mindset change to champion competency-based education and training implementation. I will strengthen DRGT function to increase student numbers and completion rates, and also ensure that our curricula adhere to the National Council for Higher Education minimum standards. I'll support efforts to hire, nurture, and retain staff and award best performers. Number 2, integration of digital transformative processes in academia. I will actively advocate for increasing the internet bandwidth to at least 1,000 megabytes per second from the current 520 as an enabler for academic digital processes. I will definitely support our homegrown system, which is the Students' Information Management System. This is our pride, and I'll step in there to make sure that it becomes a success. I'll make sure that delivery of paid online short courses is supported at MUST. Number 3, human capital development and academic leadership. Now, this is at the core of my heart. I will advocate for staff promotion and recruitment funds, and also advocate for increasing staffing levels, promote mentorship and leadership succession development, advocate for re-establishment of staff canteens and wellness programs. I've been in this institution for a couple of years, and it will be my joy to see that these canteens come back. When it comes to research, innovation, knowledge, translation for impact, I'll promote applied interdisciplinary and community-oriented research and strengthen the scientific function of the MUST Research Institute. As a grant writer, we lose a lot of time trying to write administrative pieces of grants. And it's important that we leave the scientists to write the science that wins the grants. I'll promote incubation and commercialization through the MUST Holdings Company, and also support efforts to establish a cottage industry at MUST. A university of MUST repute cannot be recognized internationally without having a robust international coordination office. We have a skeleton of that here. I'll work with the leadership, governance, and also management to make sure that we have a directorate, a robust international office which equals to what international standards are. I'll attract more qualified international students to come. Currently, we have only 2% of our students who are international at MUST, and that's a very small percentage. We should be able to encourage many more to come in, but of course they must qualify. Students are the most important clients that we have. Without students, we have no business. I will advocate for establishment of modern lecture rooms and teaching aids, strengthen mentorship programs. Now, I will put emphasis here. We don't have a student support center. That's something that I'm going to put a lot of emphasis, of course, working with our leaders, and improve sanitation in halls and academic buildings at MUST. The community. An institution without community presence is no institution. I will support efforts to establish internship and community engagement office at MUST, and also increase the duration, frequency, and impact of our outreach programs, increase university-industry linkages to provide practical learning for our students, and of course, improve their chances of getting employed when they're out of MUST. Artificial intelligence. I'm part of a grant, the data science grant, that is looking at artificial intelligence. And I will not go below the standards. I will support every effort to establish new courses in regard to AI at MUST, and also support management to make sure that we have infrastructure in terms of servers and labs. This is my leadership philosophy. I will not read everything, but just to say that I believe in shared governance, servant leadership, vision-driven academic growth, and support for fundraising and grants. Why Joseph Ngonzi for DVCAA? I've been here for the last 26 years. I'm a tested academic leader, made at MUST, with a strong institutional memory. Very approachable. I'm a resource mobilizer and fundraiser, and a servant leader. Chair, I want to acknowledge everyone listed there. Mbara University, the DVC Search Committee, MUST Council, the Secretary Search Committee, Senate, my mentors, many of them are in the room, others are online. Some of my teachers from secondary school are even in the house here. My family, friends, and well-wishers. My wife is here to give moral support. Please, why don't you just stand up? Thank you for listening to me. Succeed, we must. Must we succeed? Yes, we must succeed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Ngonzi, for your presentation. I can see that the mass community is very overwhelmed. Members, can we have silence, please? We're going to begin the second session of Dr. Ngonzi's questions. The floor is open. Members, the floor is open. The chief stakeholder, students president, please. Mr. President, please.
Thank you, Professor Ngonzi, for that wonderful presentation. My name is Arihola Turumba, student of medicine in my year 5, and the guild president. I have just 2 questions for you, Professor Ngonzi. And without wasting time, the first one is, we currently have undergraduate student research as a requirement for the attainment of a bachelor's degree for a number of courses. As the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs, how do you intend to make sure that these research projects that students do just for the bachelor's degree are translated into peer-reviewed research papers to further increase the appearance of MUST on the research scope of Uganda, as I believe it is one of the requirements for one of the parameters that are used on international ranking. Thank you. And number 2, as students, we face a number of challenges, including fees and tuition issues. And some students, by the time they're supposed to do papers, they have not completed their tuition. And some need support, some need other things. As the DVC and AA and the first Deputy Vice Chancellor, how do you intend to ensure that the university continues collecting its money from the students, while students also continue to do their papers, even when they have not exactly fulfilled their financial obligation to the university? Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you, Mr. President. May I please?
Thank you very much, Professor Ngonzi, for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
And indeed, succeed we must.
Thank you.
My question is based on what I've been seeing as MUST moving to 3rd position in the country, which I believe as an alumni, this is something that pains you.
That's right.
How can we bring MUST to the 1st position in Uganda and in the region? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Professor Ngonzi, thank you.
Thank you.
And you have seen the happiness here. They are not actually passing you, but they are happy that you are standing in front there. I can't hide my happiness when you talked about creation of the wellness center and our canteens which were closed. I was sorry, I don't know. If you could bring them back, we shall be happy. As a faculty of medicine, obviously you have served us. You clap for him, you people. And we will be happy if your service is taken somewhere else, but you make sure that you leave us with someone who can be in your foot. But now I have one question. That of recent we are having issues that people move around trying to make ends meet. And you have been the dean. And you are going to be, if you go through, you will be above the dean. And you know the problems you are leaving behind. That problem, people move around because they want to survive. So in terms of welfare, how do you intend to keep us in class and in the library? Because we don't move because we want to move, we move because this abdomen is empty maybe. So how would you intend to keep us in class? Every time we advocate for welfare, they think we want to lead a strike. But it's not a strike, it's a survival. Thank you.
Okay. Let Dr. Ngonzi take this set of questions and then we'll have the last round.
Good, thank you, Chair. Very important questions. I'll begin with Dr. Munyarujero's question. I'm not leaving problems in case I go through, but we have worked together. And there are good people in the faculty that the processes will be able to choose one. And so I'm not worried about that. When you ask about the canteens wellness center, I was privileged to be appointed by the Vice Chancellor as a member of the infrastructure committee of this institution. And in the wider College of Health Sciences construction plan, there is a big wellness center, and that puts the wellness of students and staff at the forefront of university plans. So I'm not worried about that. I know that you and myself have been at MUST for a while. And so for the hungry stomach, a communication came through recently for people to adhere to their terms of employment. About 15 years ago, I used to do a lot of moonlighting until I decided to focus on my job. And I've been able to explore other avenues of income through research and a few other things as I comply to my duty requirements. I should say that I'm earning almost 5 times more than what I used to earn when I was moonlighting. It's good for people to understand the call to the employment terms, and we shall support the system to make sure that we are faithful to what we signed up for voluntarily. Dr. Medad, you mentioned the issue of being in 3rd position according to the Webometrics and AD Scientific Index ranking. Mass visibility, as you saw, has to be raised in terms of research. There are members of mass community who publish research and they do not attach their affiliation to MUST. We lose ranking, visibility. We have a research repository which we need to utilize. We need to support measures that bring MUST to the forefront of the globe. And so, in terms of my plans, you saw what I spoke about regarding research, grant writing. All those raise our visibility, they raise our ranking. And we will work together with the Vice Chancellor and the leadership here. I remember in her presentation, she was aiming to make MUST #1 in Uganda and number 20 in Africa. Currently, MUST is the 151st in terms of the African continental ranking. We'll be able to work together to realize her dream as the driver of this whole process. To the students, now fees and tuition, there are policies that drive fees and tuition. I've discovered that not many students understand the policies. They will come, enter into class, study, and within the last 2 days to the exam, they are running around looking for fees, looking for pardon. I will ensure that students understand what their rights and responsibilities are as a continuous process. For the research, it's good to know, you've seen, as per last week, I published my 179th paper. My heart is for research. In the Faculty of Medicine, we've ensured that research groups incorporate students. And if research is to be published in good journals, it should go through ethical reviews up to the last approval. So we need to rethink regarding the process of undergraduates conducting research, whether they do it in a group or there's a mentor who can support them. Those are things we are going to sit together with student leaders to ensure that their research becomes of purpose. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you. We'll just have one set of questions because we have other candidates.
Thank you, Chair. And I think...
Who told you to speak?
I'm sorry. Chair, I'm sorry. But Chair, I think this is... I hope this session is not only about questions, but also supplementations.
Very briefly.
So,
very briefly.
Yeah, very briefly, I want to say Professor Ngonzi became head of Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology when it was the third department. In all Uganda, it was third. Professor Ngonzi became Dean of Medical School when the medical school was the second in Uganda behind another one, which is there. By the time he left, it was first. By the time he left the Department of Obstetrics, it was the first in the country. So I don't think it will be hard to transform a third place. Is it harder to transform something from third place to first than second to first? So I think MUST will become first when you become DVC.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Somebody who hasn't spoken.
Thank you.
At the back.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Professor Ngonzi, for your very eloquent presentation.
Thank you.
My question cuts across your being an alumni here and also at the same time your future elevation, which we think is done. We've heard from the guild president. You said you were guild president 20 years ago. My question is, when you look at the time you're guild president and the time we have our guild president here, has there been any change for the better or for the worse? And do you have any plans as a DVCAA to see how to enhance the guild presidency and the students' body here in MUST? Thank you very much.
Thank you, members. I think that's the last question we are taking. We're running out of time. Dr. Ngonzi, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. My answer is not from theory, but from practical engagement with students. I've engaged with students. We've published work in terms of student mentorship. I've also engaged with the Students' Guild over the years, having been one of them. When the Students' Guild fails to perform, I'm an old boy of that office. I feel sad and I spent sleepless nights. When there were threatened strikes in this institution by the students, they can bear witness that I'm one of them who informally engaged them to cool down. We had a few meetings in some places which I will not disclose, but the aim was to have peace at MUST. Of course, I was one of the unsung heroes for supporting the peace, but I was glad when some of those strikes, were thwarted. I will endeavor to support the students' leadership, and I've supported these efforts as a member of council. Initially, they did not have control over their monies as they have now. They are able to plan it better, and I've been one of the outspoken members on the Students' Welfare Committee to support students' issues. Finally, I will endeavor to support mentorship processes. Like I said, I will work hand in hand with the leadership to establish a student support center. It's not there at MUST now, but yet these are the people who are going to come into our shoes. If we do not support them, we are doing ourselves a disservice. So the students are at the center of my leadership philosophy, and I will ensure that my heart goes all for them to grow up as responsible citizens and not citizens that are questionable. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ngonzi. This brings to an end your presentation. We have listened to your vision, and should you get the job, we shall be there to look at what you said you do for the MUST community.
Thank
and
you.
I hope you're ready for that.
Thank
you very much for
Thank you.
expressing interest in furthering your career in MUST. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
for position of Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs, Associate Professor Dennis Mpairwe. Dennis, you're welcome. This is the mass community that you're going to be presenting to.
Welcome.
Is the timer ready? Yes. Okay. You may start, Dennis.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I've already been introduced. I'm Dennis Mpairwe, and I come from Makerere University, and I'm one of the candidates for the DVC AA of Bumbara University of Science and Technology. Okay, I want to first give you my profile. Who am I, and why do I think I'm the best candidate for this job? One, I'm a Ugandan, and I've seen at least 6 decades. I'm now on the 6th floor, and I'm associate professor of agriculture, specializing in animal science, livestock production, systems, and range management. I have a PhD, and I've been through several administrative and managerial services, which I started when I was working with the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry, and Fisheries in the Department of Animal Production and Marketing. I was the head of the Range and Development Section. I was the corporate manager of the Livestock Services Project, which was formerly known as the one for the deep tanks and the very downs. But I was lucky that my corporate I was heading is not the one which was audited. Mine was not audited, it was performed very well. Yes, I have served on and contributed to Makerere University services in several administrative posts. I've been head of department for more than about 10 years. I was an associate dean. When we were still in the faculties, we had what they used to call associate dean, who was supposed to be like something like a deputy dean for a period of about 1 year. And then also, I was the dean of the School of Cultural Sciences when we had merged, and I was heading one of the departments, so I was chosen to be caretaking the School of Cultural Sciences as a dean. I've been a Senate member, and for a period of about 5 years, and during that time, I was able to organize, I was part of the committee that was in charge of arranging the graduation ceremonies, and I participated in 3 of them. I'm a researcher. I told you I'm seasoned, I'm on the 6th floor. I have written research grants and won research grants, 14 of them, which have contributed up to about $2.7 million US dollars to the university. And the success has been mainly because I'm part of a very strong team of researchers internationally and nationally, which I have listed there. And I'm sure that if I get this job, this team will bring it on top of the ones which MUST has, and can be able to foster research, because I know that it is through research that you can be able to attract funding for the university, supplementing the one which is coming from the government. I've supervised students to completion, 19 master's students and 7 PhD students, and I'm still very productive. I have 8 master's and PhD students that I'm supervising who are almost to completion. I'm an academic scholar, and I've published widely in peer-reviewed journals, 60 original research journals, and 50 publications in workshops and proceedings. I'm an external examiner of many universities. I was once I was external examiner from Mbara University of Science and Technology, and I think I did the job very well. And then I was the external examiner of universities from South Africa, especially the University of Fort Hare, and then also of Free State in South Africa, then Sokoine University of Agriculture in Tanzania, and then Nairobi University, who are my main partners currently of the projects we are running. And I'm a member of a team of the scholars that were picked from Makerere University by the National Council of Higher Education when we were designing the credit transfer and human requirements of courses. I participated in the field attachment, that is the apprenticeship programs of the university. And most important in these field attachments is that I was among the pilot project for introducing field attachments in Makerere University, and it was through that one that we were able to develop guidelines that were able to make field attachment of the university-wide, and also being examinable and appearing on the students' transcripts. Curriculum review, I passed the curriculum review. I was the chair of curriculum review for the Faculty of Culture programs twice. I chaired the one for 2003 to 2007, and we were accredited by the National Council. And then the one of 2009 and 2011, also we were accredited by the National Council for Higher Education. And then I was also part of the member of the task team that was put to incorporate gender and climate change in our curricula. I've worked outside the university. I'm a chairperson of the governing council of the Bira Vocational Training Institute. Actually, I helped them to design the curriculum when we were moving from the vocational school into an institute. The member of the advisory board for Mbara Zone of Graduate Research Station for NARO. Member of the Senate board I'm very active in the church, so I sit on boards of the church, and also I'm a technical reviewer on most of the journals. This slide is to show you that I have read and have been able to know the documents of MAST, and this one is to show you that I know the profile of MAST, where it is located, and what stands for, the faculties that you have, the academic programs that you have, I've read and gone through them. Also, that is to show you that the faculties and institutes that you have. And then also, I summarized what are supposed to be the functions of a Deputy Vice Chancellor, which I summarized into this slide, that together with the office of the DVC and then office of academic registrar, it plays a central role in shaping the academic direction of the university by providing leadership in academic program policy, quality assurance, and support for the university research mission at both undergraduate and graduate levels. And then this role can be done two ways. One, you contribute to MAST vision, mission, and mandate, which I have reviewed and I know. Then the second one is to oversee and coordinate, lead, and participate in the core functions of MAST, that is teaching, learning, and leadership, research, innovation, outreach, and community engagement. And that one, you have to do it by knowing what is the strategic plan of the university. What are my perceived challenges of MAST? After reading all the documents and going through, I came up with this one. The growing student enrollment. I've seen how it has been changing from its inception. Staff and infrastructure constraints, limited research funding, and expanding need for digital and postgraduate education. Those are the challenges I extracted from the report. And then, the office of the DVC can play a key role in sensitizing, understanding, and giving guidance to solve these challenges. And I put this slide there to show you, after I look at these challenges, what is my vision and the plans of how to do it, and I summarized into this figure, this conceptual figure. My vision for MUST is the positioning MUST for the challenges of the 21st century in science and technology. That's my vision. And to do it, I have 4 strategic areas. One is on academic quality, governance, strengths must for better competitiveness, and branding. Branding is very important. To have a name, if you walk outside there and they say this is a student coming from Mbari University of Science and Technology, this is a lecturer, branding, the name carries with it, and it is because of the programs that you have, the students' conduct, and the achievements that you make with the communities. The second one is on champion improved teaching, learning, and research environment. The third one is to align MUST with local and national government goals. And then the fourth, the leadership implementation of the university. And I want quickly to go through. The first one is to ensure academic quality governance, and this one will be done. This is based on the roles of the DVC and AA. One is to review the curriculum, and we have all universities have been given a directive by Ministry of Education through National Council of Higher Education that we must review our curricula to make sure that they are all compliant with the competence-based education system and STEM. We have no choice. By 2007-2008, all universities must have reviewed the curriculum. Develop new and competitive programs. There, I would say you have to initiate programs that will be a catcher or somebody knowing this program is at my university, and it is what the current population and the students are looking for. And then I said here, because I was online when we were launching the proposed establishment of Faculty of Agriculture, Environment, and Veterinary Sciences, what I said is timely, and that is the way how you can even now be able to develop new programs within in this faculty. And I will not go through most of those ones. Then also to strengthen the field attachment, I told you I've been in field attachment for more than 15 years, and I know for the competence-based program to be achieved, you must go have a lot of apprenticeship. Students must be with the industry, people have to be on the ground, the lecturers and all those have to work with the communities. And then, of course, mainstreaming all the learning, and of course intervention and stimulation of the information that we have, because most people, secondary schools do not know what actually our public universities offer. We have to have intentional dissemination of information to these universities, move there and the rest. And then also to strengthen the e-learning and the public, and that's why I was talking that having laptops and all those ones for students, but that one can come through a strong public-private partnership. Then, to champion the improved teaching and learning and such environment, one, I would like to inculcate the philosophy, to impart the philosophy of research in staff, because it is through research that we'll be able to get funding. It is through research that we'll be able to attract students because of the projects that you have, especially at postgraduate, graduate level. And what is important is to make sure staff just know that you have to do research, and that one has to be done through workshops, convincing them, talking to them. Then initiate collaborative researchers at universities, of course, to increase on your supervision team, to increase on the partnership, and it is through strong teams that you are able to win grants. And then my main aim here would be that at least each PhD holder in the university should have at least 2 publications per year.
Dennis, we are giving you 2 more minutes to wrap up.
Okay. Then strengthen the PhD programs and the master's programs, that is to do on postgraduate training. And then also the first one is on how to implement policies of the university and those ones which are which are being directed by the National Council of Higher Education and Human Education. Of course, here I'm talking about the STEM and the competency-based curriculum. And then to strengthen the marketability, publicity, and visibility of Mbara University. And that one can be done through a lot of promoting scholarly work. Make sure that you produce research, publish in high impact journals, and then increase the university of metrics, and then people will be interested to know that this is now Mbara University, and the students will be applying to join, and other people, and also attracting international students. And then also internationalization is on attracting international students, and also this one can also be done through the strong collaborations of other partners, and then both internationally and nationally. Then I'm aware of the policy framework and governance of Mbara University of Science and Technology and other enabling policy frameworks from government, internationally, and others which I have listed down there. And my role in these ones there would be to initiate and obtain approval and promote policies, plans, and programs that enhance the academic and professional excellence, oversee development and implementation and review of policy framework, oversee preparation of academic and research, and then optimal utilization and management of existing teaching and research plans with regard to this policy. And what are my personal goals as a DVC is to see a satisfied staff, students, and end users of our products. And my leadership values are empower people, respect them, be of high integrity, and vision sharing, and then self-management. Thank you for listening. Succeed we must.
Thank you very much, Dennis, for that elaborate presentation. The floor is now open to the mass community.
All protocols observed. I rise to thank you, Professor Dennis Mpeirwe, for your vigilance. I refer to the policy details you have presented to us. My question will be simple and precise. According to the Uganda and Other Tertiary Institutions Act, also called what year as amended,
yes.
What are the specific roles of a Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs? Thank you.
Once. Of us. Here and then person behind.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dennis Mpeirwe. My name is Lawrence Musisi Muloj. I've been an alumnus of MAST, and I am. And I'm a graduate student at the same university. Thank you for the presentation. You've presented about research. I've seen your publications, which are many. But I want you to show us your understanding of innovation and research, and show us how you're going to ensure that the Mbara University of Science and Technology is so innovative in the various fields, in the various faculties. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Pairwe. My name is Dr. Elias Oyesje. I'm a crop scientist by profession here at Mbara University of Science and Technology. It's a brilliant presentation, but there's something which I really wanted some clarification, especially when you mentioned that you will ensure that 2 publications per PhD holder per year, if I'm right.
Yes.
Yeah, given the context of resource funds, and I don't know how applicable that will be, and how you plan to achieve that one, and what will be the repercussions for non-compliance. Thank you very much.
Dennis, you'll take this set of questions, then we'll have one question from the online platform and one from the audience. In the next set.
So I can answer, okay? I will start with the one of the universities and other tertiary institutions act as amended, because one of the main emphasis on that one there is to do with the development, initiation and development of academic programs that fit within the national and international requirements. And the role of the DVC, as I showed you at the beginning, one is to review curricula, assist, initiate the development of new programs, and that one would be done through assessment of ourselves, looking at what are the new challenges that we have on board. And like, for example, now, we are supposed to comply with the National Council of Higher Education of reviewing our curriculum to respond to STEM and also to CBE. So that one is one of the roles that you need to do as a DVCAA. Also, initiate programs that will be answering to national demands, and that one also, it is the role of the DVC to contribute towards that section of the Act. Then the second question was asking me about what do I understand by innovation and research. Innovation, one, it is, I will take you through in science. Innovation, it is the amount and the knowledge that you put in trying to develop a certain technology. For example, if you are in the, let's say, let's go to those who are for IT. The initiative that you put in to develop an app specific for a certain function. For example, if you are putting an app like the one which the student who was fearing to be pricked by doctors, who put an app of how you can be able to detect malaria from somebody without being pricked. That is what I understand by innovation. And that one is done by encouraging the learners to make sure that they are self-exploring and they are being guided through the practice, not allowing them not to be in theory, but to be in practice and what have you. And that one is done through reading, also reviewing what is available on the ground and what others have done. Then with research, it is trying to look at what are the challenges of society, look at them, analyze them, and come up with what you propose as a challenge to that challenge that you have picked. And then you go through your proposal, development, and all those ones, and then try to address, which is a long story that I cannot go into this one here. I stand with my policy of saying at least a PhD person should be able to produce 2 papers of publication per year. And I want to start with the last one. It is not that you have to be punished because you don't have the 2 papers of publication. It's to encourage you to make sure that you have 2 papers of publication, and that one is done through having strong multidisciplinary teams. And you are part of those disciplinary teams. We've helped so many students and young career researchers in our faculty. I have 6 of them that have even published even more papers than I do because we attach them to different research teams. So once you are a member, and then that's how you can be helped to move with others. So you don't need to say that I must be having a project, I have to get funding to be able to publish. So if you are part of a team, you can be published together with other senior researchers, those who are there. But if you have strong research teams and you attract funding, you can be able to publish. Like there is one that we have now that we've been running, to transform, working in the Cambodia sub-region. We have produced 8 PhDs, and each PhD is having 3 papers of publication, and some of them are staff members. So it's not that you have a punishment for not achieving it, but it's to persuade you, make you align with other research teams, and you're able to publish. Because if you don't publish in a university, especially like Mbara University of Science and Technology, I don't think that you have a chance, because the fruits are being seen from your publications, the scholarly work. How will you improve the metrics of Mbara University of Science and Technology if you don't publish and put them in the high impact journals? I haven't seen the one from online.
We're going to read it.
Yeah, okay.
Should I skip this? Chair.
Thank you, the Chair. And I appreciate the professor on what he's trying to communicate to us. I'm Kakui Wilson Tukwase, a student of IT here at MUST, here too. Unfortunately, when we go to academics, there are many challenges we face here at this side of KIHUMURO. So we would like to let you know and tell us how are you going to stand in for us. Because specifically, we don't want to get someone who's to favor the old and we the young ones to suffer. Are we getting the point?
Yes.
Because and we don't have the money to survive. So initially, what I'm trying to put on board is the university has means of transport. That's the funny part. But unfortunately, we students don't gain from those means of transport. We suffer to come here and study on a daily basis. The timetables are fixed. And if you have the money, the little money you have, if you spend it on transport to come and study, then you will not have to eat. If you don't eat, then you will not capture anything they have taught. So what is the essence of having me here at campus to study if I can't survive? So we would like to ask, on behalf of the rest who can't support themselves, we would like to know, how are you going to stand in for us? Because this question was for the previous speaker. Since he said he has been at MUST for over 26 years, meaning he knows the problems, but he has never tried to help us out on that problem. So how can I be there and say, I'm going with this one? 26 years, you've seen the problem, you've not solved it. So please enlighten us on how you're going to help us out on that.
Thank you, Chair. The question for you online, Professor Dennis. Professor Dennis' vision is to transform Mbara University into a digitally enabled, research-intensive, and mentorship-driven institution. Can he clearly outline how he will leverage existing technologies and institutional infrastructure to achieve this transformation? including specific actions, timelines, and measurable outcomes for improving teaching, quality, mentorship systems, and research productivity. That is from Mwavu Rogers.
Thank you. Dennis, you'll answer the last set of questions for this presentation.
Yeah. Thank you, Wilson, for presenting the students' affairs and trying to find how I can contribute. Wilson, I will tell you, being on the sixth floor gives me much more experience that I've gone through with the students. And I can assure Wilson that if you come to the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences and you go for a vote for the person who has been working with the students, you will see what the students will be scoring me on. First, you said that you touched so many things. You even talked his transport, and then you say you are not being catered for to come for transport. The first question would be that the university, especially with like a growing university that is coming up, they have facilities. And I'm happy that when I came here, I found you have these good auditoriums, you have all these things. So that shows you the initiatives that the university has been put in place to address the challenges of space, transport, because there are so many. Now, the transport you are talking about, I don't know whether it is a bus or whatever, and whether it can be shared by staff and then what have you. But the most important thing is to look at the student affairs. And one of the things that I would say that I participated when I was head of department, we were able to buy a bus using our research funds on the 10% administrative fee that we are giving in. And also by sitting down with our dean, that time it was the faculty, and we said we should have a bus for the students because our students moved from Kabanyoro to campus, and also because of the field, there was no bus that was taking the students there. So as I told you, I have strong research fund background. I'm attracting students, funding in that one. So out of that funding, that's when you can talk to you go to the VC, talk to council, and you say, I brought in this amount of money. This is what you got. Can we apportion part of it to students, transport and what have you? So those are the ones that you have to look at what is available within the resource bag, and then try to see how you can be able to solve that one. So then also, there is a need for us to work in partnership with the private sector. Because if you work with companies like big companies like Coca-Cola and what have you, you can be able to convince them that they can even be able to, you have been seeing them sponsoring football, giving their funds. They can also put funds. As long as you have something, you are working with them, to a problem, they can give you, you say, but we have a problem of a bus for students, they can give you that. So that's the several ways I can be able to address your challenges, which I have not been part of the year, but I know they are the same in all public universities. But what is important is to make sure you stand for the students and the staff. And also, as the DVCA, you are a link between the administration, the students, because you deal with academic affairs. So you have to make sure you balance the three. Then the question on the vision, the question was lengthy. Yeah, but I will have to look at the things that he was talking about, like improved technology, which he was talking about, and then the quality of programs. It was a lengthy one. For example, he was touching how will I address. I gave in my presentation, I was telling you that, for example, if you were to go in, for example, now if you were to go under the new competence-based, you have to promote ODL. You have to make sure that the students and the staff have access to the means. For example, a simple one, to computers, laptops, like the student was saying up there. they don't have even money for lunch, and then how will they be able to access laptops? I've been seeing our students at the university, when we're online teaching, they are sharing a phone and they are attending a lecture, which I think is something very inconveniencing for the students, especially for those ones, and especially for people coming from public universities like Mara. Because some universities which are private have forced students to come with laptops so they can be able. But I told you, one of the ways to do that is through a public-private partnership. For example, Stanbic Bank gave an offer to Makerere University of providing laptops to all students, and all students should, on loan basis, should only open accounts in Stanbic Bank, and then start paying it over their life period. And and it was a good one, because it was, a laptop was supposed to be given at the factory price, and which was supposed to be 700,000 shillings, and then paid over a span. But that one is still offering, and what have you. But if I was in that position, I would want to go into that strong private partnership to make sure that we solve some of the problems, like this one here, of improved technology.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. We'll just take one more question from a council member called Ambrose. Ambrose Murangira, you may speak now. Ambrose.
This is Ambrose. As a deaf scholar, I have faced a number of challenges to access university education. I am not alone. Thousands of scholars with disabilities face similar and other challenges. What will be your plan to ensure an inclusive and enabling learning environment at MUST?
Yeah, thank you, Ambrose, for the question. And you know, when you have only 10 minutes, 15 minutes of presentation, I couldn't talk about the one for gender inclusiveness and the catering for students, staff, and what have you, with special needs and what have you. Because one of the things, like for example, we had a student that came to the Faculty of Agriculture to do BSc Agriculture. And that time I was a student in that class. And the biggest problem is that he had a machine that time that he would make, when he's trying to put his writing, in front of you, it will make noise to all of us in the class. And students, you know, students will get irritated because of that. And eventually I saw that student was almost dropping out, until one member of staff who was there was able to assist the student, locate the student to people who could provide him with assistance on a machine that would not make what? Noise in class. And that's why, but we remained with that student, and he finished because of a simple intervention of somebody getting concerned, and then try to look for people who can be able to help this student get the typewriter that would be using during the studying. So special needs integration in our curricula and in our learning process is very important. Is to identify them and know and what their incapability is originating from. Others, for example, our buildings were not built, most of them having access for the disabled and what have you. And that's what you have to make sure that you look at what are the challenges and make sure these are being addressed, and you meet the requirements of which are set by government on addressing with students with special needs. And make sure that the university is compliant with most of these things. And then two, as I said, most of us are not aware that there are other assistance or other funding that are coming either from government or from other donors who are supporting such students and such staff. So it is a matter of identifying what's the problem and then try to solve it using what is available. And in most cases, there are other people who are willing to help, especially like for the deaf. And then in our teaching, in our classes, at least I don't know where at MUST, we don't have sign interpreters for those ones who are not doing what? They are not there. But it's a requirement in what you want to make. You have seen even on the radio a lot of its requirement. So one of the things is to convince council and through the vice chancellor and what have you, and see how we implement. At least to also, when you are recruiting DVCs, AA, F and A lecturers, you also recruit, sign, and what they become part of the staff of the university. And we get that for.
Okay, thank you very much, Dennis. This marks the end of your presentation to the MUST community. We thank you again for expressing interest in working with MUST. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Who will be the next Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic Affairs at Mbarara University of Science and Technology? The DVC Search Committee at MUST presents the candidates for this position. Dr. Arthur Kajungu Tugume, Associate Professor of Plant Pathology, Virology and Plant Disease Management, Dean, School of Biosciences, College of Natural Sciences at Makerere University. Dr. Dennis Impeirwe, Associate Professor for Animal Nutrition, Forage Science and Livestock Production Systems, School of Agricultural Sciences at Makerere University. Professor Francis Kasekende, Professor of Organizational Behavior and Organizational Development, Faculty of Management and Public Policy, Makerere University Business School. And Professor Joseph Ngonzi, Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Dean, Faculty of Health Sciences, Mbarara University of Science and Technology. To be a part of this milestone, join us. Succeed, we must. Who will be the next Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic Affairs at Mbarara University of Science and Technology? The DVC Search Committee at MUST presents the candidates for this position. Dr. Arthur Kajungu Tugume, Associate Professor of Plant Pathology, Virology and Plant Disease Management, Dean, School of Biosciences, College of Natural Sciences at Makerere University. Dr. Dennis Impeirwe, Associate Professor for Animal Nutrition, Forage Science and Livestock Production Systems, School of Agricultural Sciences at Makerere University. Professor Francis Kasekende, Professor of Organizational Behavior and Organizational Development, Faculty of Management and Public Policy, Makerere University Business School. And Professor Joseph Ngonzi, Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Dean, Faculty of Health Sciences, Mbarara University of Science and Technology. To be a part of this milestone, join us. Succeed, we must. Who will be the next Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic Affairs at Mbarara University of Science and Technology? The DVC Search Committee at MUST presents the candidates for this position. Dr. Arthur Kajungu Tugume, Associate Professor of Plant Pathology, Virology and Plant Disease Management, Dean, School of Biosciences, College of Natural Sciences at Makerere University. Dr. Dennis Impeirwe, Associate.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure to announce the last applicant for the position of DVC Academic Affairs, Dr. Arthur Kajungu Tugume. Dr. Tugume, you're most welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is the MUST community that you'll be making your presentation to. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Members of Council of Mbarara University of Science and Technology present, members of Senate, members of management, the Vice Chancellor and your team, the staff and students, and the members of the public present, good afternoon. I want to take this opportunity to thank the Search Committee for giving me this opportunity. My name is Arthur Kajungu Tugume, as one of the candidates for the position of Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs for Mbarara University. I want
want to talk about Mbarara University as the only university which the government of Uganda in 1989 positioned to achieve one of the major dreams that this country is dreaming about, and that is the Vision 2020. My slides are not changing. I'm not sure what is happening. Okay, here you come. MUST is the only higher education institution in Uganda that shows a competitive advantage for this country to be driven to Uganda's Vision 2040. And during its creation in 1989, and by the way, I must inform members that this is the only first university created by the NRM government. That was after 67 years since the first university was created in this country. Because that was 67 years after the first university, but Mbarara became the second, but then the only university which is positioned to be the center of excellence with vision in academic excellence, professional excellence in science and technology, with a vision to provide quality and relevant education at the national and international level, with particular emphasis on science and technology and its application to community development as their vision. And the head of state was so particular and intentional. It was not just by chance that we have it created, but it was the University of Science and Technology. All right, and therefore, the creation of this university with this vision as stated, and the launching of the Vision 2040 just works hand in glove, that there is no any other higher education institution that I see achieving this objective. Now, with its strategic placement, therefore, there are so many developmental frameworks that place MUST in a competitive advantage for this country. Number one is the Vision 2040 that I've just mentioned. There are several presidential initiatives that the President of Uganda has been launching over the years. The science and technology-driven economy, where we must drive this economy from the current $50 or $61 billion to $500 billion in the next years up to 2040. This is what we dream about. We have to dream big so that and aim at the skies. And this is what Uganda dreams about. The parish development network, which is more into the grassroots development, where we use STI to be able to move this country forward. These are things that the government of Uganda has laid in plan for us. And I can't mention that MUST is so relevant to each one of them, because each one of them harnesses science, technology, and innovation. But I must emphasize the last 2 points in a special way, because MUST is just less than 40 kilometers away from here to the Engineering Development and Aviation Center, just on the way as you go to Masaka. How is MUST positioned to be able to make partnerships with those particular institutions? Because this is one of the high-tech institutions that is driving engineering and manufacturing of machines. The second and most recent one, as old as 11 or 12, actually 14 days ago, is when the head of state of this country gave instructions to the leader of government business that there should be an international airport just right here next door in Nyachara to be able to link China, that means the entire Asia, together with Latin America. You talk about internationalization, you cannot talk about internationalization without talking about these things. And that means to me, in my mind, I'm thinking that Mbarara City is going to be perhaps the next second, perhaps near capital city of Kampala, because it is going to be an international hub for international travel and international linking Uganda to the rest of the world in Asia and Latin America. And that means when we are thinking about internationalization, these are opportunities we have to be able to tap it into. My role as the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic Affairs, strategizing, making sure the academics are well done. It's a top-level management position which is responsible for directing academic policies, curriculum development, quality assurance, and research. And these are the specific functions and responsibilities that the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic Affairs is charged with. We talk about curriculum, academic leadership, quality assurance, curriculum and examinations, administration, strategic planning, and exercising delegated authority from the Vice Chancellor and also Council. These are things that I must be able to undertake as the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of academics. What motivated me to do these things? My major motivation is my passion and what I do. Over the last several years, I have championed so many initiatives, but I want to mention one of them, which MUST is very relevant too, that I've championed the fundamental change in the teaching and the performance of biology in the entire country through the formation of the Biology Society of Uganda, which is functional, and we are actually launching a report eventually on how the government should be able to move forward, shifting from what we've been doing through competence-based curriculum. So, given my expertise and my experience and what I have caused and the impact, because my interest was, why are we having poor performance and all this, and we blame this and the other, but we've been able to undertake 4 years of intensive research in the whole country, and we built CAM solutions, and we're launching that report in the next 3 weeks from now, and I invite you to participate in that report. And of course, that also puts it into the Vision 2040, because this is what we're aiming at in using science and technology for development. What's my vision for MUST? There is nothing like reinventing the wheel here. The CEO of this institution already set the vision, which we are driving as an institution. Her vision is to make Mbara University the first university in Uganda, and let me assure you this is possible. We can do it. It is possible. We only have to align a few things, some of which I'm going to talk about, which add on the value what we have already been doing. The first best university in Uganda, to be among the top 20 in Africa, and to be among the top 1,000 in the world. How do I intend? So I intend to be able to plug in and be able to actualize the vision of the Vice Chancellor, because it's already running. And we need to be able to contribute, and that vision we all must be able to contribute towards it. The first one is good academic governance. With my experience of over 15 years, I would want to be able to create teams and ensure that mandates of units are respected, ensure that leaders, all leaders at all levels, heads of departments, deans, and directors of every kind, they are supported and given orientation. And then we need to be able to support a collaborative environment where the management sciences also work with the natural sciences so that they don't feel left out. We need to ensure high curriculum. This is the fundamental and cardinal role of the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic Affairs. Everything possible that can be done to enhance the quality of the curriculum, because that's where we have students enter the university. You have a poor curriculum, you have a bad curriculum, you have a raw deal. All curricula must be strengthened and ensure that much of it is actually competence-based. Not just much of it, but there must be competence-based education, which has been emphasized in the policies of the country. And we must be ensure, how do we do that? By consulting stakeholders, partnership with industry, ensuring equality at every stage, from the time the curriculum is conceived up to the point when it is implemented, not just accredited. The quality assurance must be high. We need to be able to increase experiential learning, not just classroom knowledge or lectures, but actually having experiences, giving students to speak out, because that's one way in which they learn, Ensure that there is timely review and accreditation. Timely review meaning that we have both self and peer review. High research intensity. This is very important as well. The function of DVC, we need to be able to leverage networks. I have past networks which have been running in over 5 continents of the world. All of them are active, and I'm able to plug into that once I've given the opportunity. Over 12 countries within 5 continents of the world. That is coming here once I'm appointed as Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic Affairs. We need to be able to support the creation of new academic journals, not just any other journals, but journals which have international reputation. It's not just any other journal. We need to be able to encourage publication from MSc, masters, and PhD students, so that the research intensity of the university is increased. Digital transformation is something that we cannot avoid. All that requires, including cloud computing and smart classrooms and the telemedicine, those who do medicine, and other virtual classrooms, that is something that we need to be able to manage. Strategic partnerships. MUST cannot do without these partnerships. It's very important. We need to map where we are strong, where we can offer to the community, and the community offers to us, coordinating joint proposals with universities and other institutions. That is something that I plan to do. And lastly but not least, supporting staff and students. One of the key things that we'll begin negotiating immediately is how we can begin to start a student center. It may not be immediate as in terms of implementation, but there has to be plans, there has to be a starting point. But students have to be supported in their mind to be able to, the mindset change of their students, and also supporting healthy minds, and also creating an environment where staff can be able to work effectively and very well, motivating them, creating the environment that is useful. Who is this person speaking to you? I am an associate professor, and I've been a head of department, and I've been a dean. I'm informing you that I'm also a member of Senate of MUST, starting tomorrow. I have over 15 years of senior managerial and academic transformation leadership in various levels. I have provided student mentorship and contributed immensely with over 20 PhDs supported to build the human capacity development of Uganda. The MSCs are quite many, about over 40. I have provided consultancy services to the Ministry of Science, Technology, and Innovation to help direct this country on what are the priorities that we must focus on in science and technology, and I provided a report in the Ministry of Science and Technology and Innovation. I have got extensive networks, collaborations, and strategic partnerships. I've already mentioned this in over 20 institutions globally, 12 countries, and in 5 continents, and all this emphasizing research mobilization. In my few years of operation as a senior researcher, I have been able to gather a maximum of up to $10.2 million under my management, of course, phased in different years, the highest of it being $6.1 million. And much of my funding work is supported by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the World Bank, under the Millennium Science Initiative Project, the European Union, the Academy of Finland, DFID, DINIDA, RUFORAM, and several other things that I've been able to do. Lastly but not least, I have done a lot of outreach in schools, in communities, especially on the matter of biology, because biology, you see, biology is important because it contributes more than 75% of the science, technology, and innovation sector of this country. So if we ignore it, most of our institutions actually come crumbling down and will not have where to go. I've been a member, I'm a fellow of the Uganda National Academy of Sciences. I'm a member of several of different bodies, the National Biosafety Committees, which is responsible for implementing science in a safe way. I've chaired the Deans Forum, which I've been able to collaborate and coordinate all 34 deans and directors of Makerere University, ensuring that we work together in harmony, we learn from each other, and we enhance our efficiency. I'm a board member of Data and Safety Monitoring Board, which is a board which is responsible for trying out, ensuring that natural chemotherapeutics, the herbal medicine that we talk about in Uganda, is done in a safe way. I've represented Uganda on the African Organization for Standardization. I'm a member of Uganda National Biotechnology and Biosafety Consortium. I have been a convener of several conversations about science, technology, innovations in Uganda. These are the things, few of them which I've been able to do. And with that, I really want to pass a vote of thanks to the search committee, the chairperson and your members, the members of the public who have been listening to me. We must succeed, and therefore succeed we must. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Arthur, for keeping time, and we thank you for your vision for MUST. The floor is open to the MUST community.
Thank you, Arthur, for your presentation and your aspirations to join MUST as a DVC AA. Like the other people before, you are the fourth person. There's been a lot of emphasis on publications, but there is a paradigm shift. Publications do not directly address the problems of the community. Rather, it should be innovations and interventions and so on that are useful. So my question to you is, do you have any strategy to do that, or you don't agree with that paradigm? Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Chair. My name is Martin Tumukunde, and I'm a 5th year medical student student of Bachelor's of Medicine and Bachelor's of Surgery. And I've served in different student leadership positions in this university. I'm very passionate about my alma mater. I want to appreciate you for a very good presentation, which is one of the best we've seen. Of course, to me is up there. But I want to bring to your attention, one, I clap to Professor Malink, who is my mentor. He asked what my first question. I had a professor who presented before, focusing so much on publication, the publish or perish philosophy, which we've moved past, and I think that is clearly indicated. Then my other question, still rhyming with that, when you look at the DNA of MUST, which is actually clearly indicated in our vision, is mostly community engagement. And I will not go to read exactly the statement, but it's community engagement and solving community problems. And that is done through our extensive research that we've been doing as an institution. MUST is a center of excellence in research. However, we are seeing a shift in terms of funding. Funding has shrunk, and we do not know how the future is going to look like. Only one presenter, I think the second presenter, highlighted something about a strategy, a practical strategy on how to solve this gap that has been created. So I wonder what solutions, practical solutions, you are going to ensure that we continue getting funding and we compete with these universities that we are talking about, some of them that have budgets almost close to the GDP of Uganda. Thank you so much, and I wish you talk so much about how you intend to impact society. I know the president mentioned about how he started MUST specifically to solve a certain need, and I hope everyone in this room knows it. I want to understand how your plan and strategy fits into our vision, mission, and how you're going to strengthen research, most importantly, and community engagement and innovation. Thank you so much.
I'll take one more. You can speak.
Yes, thank you, Professor Arthur. I'm Hoz Rashid, part of the alumni community of the university. I've found challenges in questioning your credibility for this role. My question, therefore, is around your ambitious nature or character. In the gap of 3 months from now, we are having a cabinet reshuffle or a full cabinet selected once the president swears in. And I've seen you a statesman. What if you are chosen a minister, for example, of agriculture, in the Ministry of Agriculture? Are you not tasking the search committee in June to go for the same exercise, to search for the DVC? Given that you're actually aspiring for a role similar to the one you're coming from. I've seen you are a dean of sort in Makerere. In a word or two, give us your commitment to working with the MUST community. Thank you.
Arthur, you may answer the questions now.
Thank you so much, Chairperson and members, for those questions. Chairperson, the first two questions are related, so allow me to answer them together. About it's true that the overemphasis of publish or perish, to me, I call it sloganeering, because you probably do not need to have the largest number of publications to have impact. I have a lot of them, though, but I also have created sources the impact. It's possible you can do both, and I do not want to encourage MUST or bring a philosophy that you do not need publications at all, you need to do only community. I want to say that you need a symbiotic relationship of the two. And how can we do that? We need to do both, but be able to emphasize where we are weak. I know MUST is strong on community, and we still should emphasize that. We shouldn't let it go. But on the publication, still we have to do to emphasize that. Now, how do we do to emphasize this community without having to say publications? One of the key ideas I believe, and not just I believe, that I plan to bring on board is actually partnership with industry. I mentioned the two last slides, the two last slide on my second slide, the two last points on my slide. Industry, 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 industry. Whatever is within our community, within our reach, what are the needs they have? You see, we don't go there. We only take students there to learn what they are doing, but we in management never perhaps go there to say, what are their needs? How can we do the partnership? For example, I don't know if MUST has had the chance to be able to interact with the station that I mentioned in Rwebitete, a few kilometers from here. But we can begin small from there. And I've talked about the airport. I don't know whether it excites some of us, but I can tell you in the next few years, Mbarara City is going to be competing with the capital city of Uganda. I can tell you that. And if we don't plan properly, we are going to miss. So we need to plan that, talk about industry, 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 to be able to identify the needs. Now, Dr. Rashid, your question is challenging, but let me answer it this way. I like doing my thing. And the thing that I love is to being an academic leader in MUST. If a political appointment comes, that's a different discussion. But as far as I know right now, if I'm given an appointment at MUST, I will take it up. And I'll be ready to serve MUST. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any more questions before we close? And then, do we have anybody online?
I actually, most honestly and humbly, God Ruzaza here, salute you for an eloquent, inspiring presentation. And I'd like to join Mbara University in congratulating you, in the case it is factual news, for joining MUST on the other side of Senate, if I heard correctly. And please, therefore, I would request that you don't take away any fruits of your labor, because in case this job doesn't become yours. But a critical question is, you seem to have analyzed MUST quite well to the level of possible understanding the students' needs. I'm not at all misunderstanding you to be a dean of students or an applicant for that job. But we are all here because of the learners, the students. Please, I'd like to hear from you what it is that you do differently or better in your analysis of the students' challenges at Mbara University. Thank you very much.
Can you kindly check online if we have anybody?
Thank you, Dr. Arthur. You have talked about your experience in outreach in schools and communities as your community engagement strategy. And the schools you have involved, I have not seen MUST, I have never seen you. So how sure are we that you will impact all the communities where MUST has the coverage, especially for community placement for students and even researchers? Are you going to remain around MUST and the schools you have been engaged with, or you will also make sure that you help those areas where MUST has been operating?
Thank you. We'll have Stella, a council member.
Thank you very much, Chair. And thank you, Dr. Arthur, for your good presentation. But in your objectives, I've seen so many objectives, but on inclusion part of it, I've not had a clear view of how you are going to help people with disability must to access a good learning environment and working environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Martha, is there anybody online?
What is online?
Okay. So Arthur, you will answer those questions. The online question is similar to what Stella's asked.
Okay, thank you so much, Chairperson and members. Question number one was about how to do differently with students. You see, of course, you can't work in an environment of a university without interacting with students. One of my approaches, what I've seen work with students over the years, is the trust that students put in you. And that talks about with how you work with students. I will need and I will have to implement an open door policy. I mean, engage with the students, start with them, give them space. Students need space. When in other spaces may be shrinking, what the students need is to speak, give them a chance to speak, analyze what they are speaking, and you'll be able to create a flow. If they have a need, you give them a chance. And so students, once you are giving them a chance to be able to speak to you, create opportunities for engagement with them, you know, the student center, even if you have a student center without them plugging into the relationship with management, it becomes futile. So that's one of the things I do quite differently. The second question, I'm sorry, maybe I think the person asking it was meaning it the schools in Mbarara or the schools in Mast. I didn't seem to have understood it very well, but this is what I meant, what I understood. I have been across the whole country in all the different schools in this country, not all the different schools, but in all regions, including Karamoja. So I've been able to visit different schools, not each and every school, but be able to understand what it means for each of the different schools in the region. So being at Mast actually gives me now an opportunity to be able to launch a greater impact within the western part of Uganda. But as it comes to school deans, the school deans, what I was meaning is that I was the coordinator or chairperson of Deans Forum, which ended some time ago, and I was able to coordinate all deans to ensure that our efficiency and delivery was matched. So I don't know, either way, it will answer the question that you are talking about. People with disability, absolutely yes. We need to be able to take care of our learning spaces and office spaces. That is something we need to be able to consider, because when the government is admitting, giving scholarships, and also when we are admitting students, sometimes we don't take care of those particular special needs. So I believe, and as soon as I'm given this particular position, working with my colleague, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Finance Administration, because this is something that is infrastructure administration, this is something that is so easy to handle once you are working as a team. The DVCA cannot work around about that. Otherwise, that's something that we are looking at once I get an opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Arthur. This marks the end of your presentation to the mass community. Would like to thank you for that engaging presentation and the answers to the questions that were asked. We thank you very much for expressing interest in working with mass, and we'll get back to you in regard to the outcome of this engagement. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Systems, School of Agricultural Sciences at Makerere University. Professor Francis Kasekende, Professor of Organizational Behavior and Organizational Development, Faculty of Management and Public Policy, Makerere University Business School. And Professor Joseph Ngonzi, Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Dean, Faculty of Health Sciences, Mbarara University of Science and Technology. To be a part of this milestone, join us. Succeed, we must. Who will be the next Deputy Vice Chancellor
of this event, the AR and Angela? Thank you very much. Would also like to thank the IT team. You've done a wonderful job. I thank all of you and I wish you a good day. We're going to have the national anthems before we close everything in reverse order. Thank you very much and have a good night. We're waiting for the anthems.
Mbarara University, succeed we must. With God's will, we shall make the best of must. Let us unite and cooperate to build the nation in different sectors. Our pride and ego must will shine forever and will be victors. My alma mater, long live Mbarara University, utlimam viva. E Mungu twaomba uyilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. O Uganda, may God uphold thee. We lay our future in thy hands. United, free for liberty, together we'll always stand.
Thank you, Angela.